ministers. The honourable member for Innisfail-Sylvan Lake, followed by Sherwood Park.
On February 28th, the government quietly released the Protection of Persons in Care report on their website 9 months after it was due. 9 months, sorry. Alarming since the report found that there were 166 confirmed cases of abuse. Even more alarming is that the report comes on the heels of 3 healthcare workers being charged for abusing a senior in care. This isn't the first time this has happened. Sadly, it's not even the second. Wild Rose has brought several cases of abuse to this minister's attention, and every time this minister told Albertans that these were one-offs. Minister, how can Albertans have confidence in the safety of their loved ones in care when your own government delays the very reports they rely on?
Well, Mr. Speaker, this minister nor any member of this government, I'm sure, never said that these situations were one-offs. These are matters that we take extremely seriously, Mr. Speaker. I spoke to this after the report was released. In fact, I'm surprised it took the opposition this long to raise the report in the Legislative Assembly. Mr. Speaker, we have very strong Protection for Persons in Care Act legislation in this province. I have asked my department to go back and look at recommendations that have been made, including the recommendations this year with respect to founded allegations of abuse, to ensure those recommendations.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Member.
I'll remind the minister it's the government's job to release the report in July of last year. Minister, Albertans cannot comprehend or even imagine a senior being abused, let alone learn from your own report that 22% of the abuses that were founded were of a sexual nature. What is the minister doing to stop this horrific abuse?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure that the people of this province cannot imagine any member of this Assembly trying to make cheap political points by exploiting these situations. Mr. Speaker, the responsible position and position of this government is to do everything we can to make sure that the very strong legislation that we have is enforced. This legislation, Mr. Speaker, includes a very broad definition of the term abuse. Many members of this caucus, including the honourable member for Whitecourt St. Anne, who spent the last part of the fall touring the province, making people aware that this legislation exists and how to access it for the
Honourable Member, your final supplemental, no preamble.
Standing up for Albertans is never considered cheap politics, Minister. There are 18 founded instances of sexual abuse of seniors in care in your very own report that you delayed for 9 months. Why have Albertans not heard of 18 charges being laid against the alleged abusers?
Mr. Speaker, as I said, I've asked the Department of Health to look at all of the founded allegations of abuse to ensure the recommendations that were implemented or are being implemented, and in addition to look at what else we can do to strengthen the compliance mechanisms. Mr. Speaker, I'm at the point where I can't even hear my own answer. I'll conclude by saying, Mr. Speaker, we take the issue extremely seriously. We have loved ones in care as well. There is absolutely no excuse for any instance of abuse in this province, and this legislation is in place to protect Albertans from any such event.